Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
As I always said, Earth is a nursery where it creates that seed, that bulb, and it takes you buy it, and then you plant it, you water it, and then it gives you that flower. I was in Amsterdam this few days for World Education Foundation, and I love Amsterdam because it doesn't matter, whenever you pass through the airport, they have tulips. And people from all over the world going through Amsterdam buy these onions or the tulips to take it to their nation, or to their country, or to their home, doesn't matter. And Earth is that flower shop. Is that nursery where the flower shop gets its flowers and its onions. It's a seed where it plants the seed of the soul of the man, which needs that little ignition to start a cycle. As I said in the past, to get to feel the strength to come together in a space takes billions of years, and especially for them to become a plasma, where now the soul of the man, through the life of the man, 50, 60, 100 years on this planet, creates that seed. Now you just need to let it loose, and then those fields in the universe which were coming to become the seed of this something to start, already have the onions, or what we call the seed of the soul, for it to grow. If you go to Scotland, they do what we call shrimp sit, 1 day shrimp or 3 day shrimp. The people who are in the shrimp world, they go to Scotland and they buy 1 day old shrimp, and they take it to Africa, and then they let it grow. Where in Africa, for them to grow that, there is no facilities. So it's the same. The universe has the earth as the seed for that to be faster to create the next generation. You have to understand the light of, the knowledge of, the essence of the creation of the Creator is so fast, and is so fast in its vastness that it needs it to find a point of control, amalgamation and creation. And The soul of man is that greenhouse. Sometimes when I hear the scientists talk about the greenhouse effect and the earth is getting hotter or whatever, I laugh. I said, God created this greenhouse to create the soul of the man. What the hell are these people talking about? So this is why when you build a greenhouse, when you put the flowers and the plants in it, you go and check to see how beautiful they are, how they are growing. If there is any infection, if there is any diseases, you correct it. And this greenhouse called Earth gets serviced by the Creator to see what it needs to be done, how it needs to be corrected, how you get the disease of killing and everything else out of the man. And then he sends what we call the gardeners, the teachers, to polish it, to perfect it, that goes out as a perfect seed. And that's our job. So the earth is that nursery. And the Creator loves this nursery because it was created by Mitra. And is looked after by his love and needed to be corrected and be perfected. Now it reaches that point which reflects his true essence of love. When you buy a flower from a florist, you will feed two things. If he sells you a flower he bought from a market, a plant, he just gives it to you. But if it's a plant which he grew and he sells it to you, he gives you love, information and love about that because it's part of him. So it's the same with the man. The soul created on this planet is done, touched by the love of Mitra, and God has hand in it. And he has to be perfect. So when it goes out in the universe, it becomes a perfect tulips. And one lip of Creator and one lip of Mitra. When they kiss, it creates a new life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 616th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, November 13th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Kesh Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in this weekly series of wonderful workshops, or as someone just said in YouTube, another exciting workshop. And once again, we are joined with the exciting presenter, Mr. Mayran Kesh, and I think he's rearing to go for yet another workshop here. Hello, Mr. Kesh. Are you there?
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this, there is Knowledge Seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back, and we are here to back another what I call adventure with the world of science of creation, and unfortunately, what is created out of it and how is created out of it. And what do we do with this knowledge? We have entered a phase of understanding the work of the universe that is essential for us to understand this part, as it's part of the creation which is the creator of the man and man ignorant of his knowledge. And without it, life doesn't exist anywhere in the universe. And understanding it in full gives the key to the way everything in the universe is created, seen and unseen, and what is, which is not to us. And by seeing one, we can do and get to the other side. I explained this to a knowledge seeker once, and you understand how one reaches this point. When I was in my final year in Queen Mary College, the teaching was very straightforward, one-to-one. I sat across the table with my professor across, and we were taught one-to-one what was on the edge of the nuclear industry and what we were supposed to know. In the last couple of lectures, Professor Leslie said to me, you're going to get two questions. Either one of them you answer, you'll get your, what you call the mark. And he said, you know which one you're going to get. The teaching is very straightforward. I went to the exam room, opened the paper, and it was the two questions. Whole term of studying, understanding was sitting in front of me. And it was a process of the nuclear, what we call reactor system, with many, many bits to it. And he said, can you show this position to this position, critical condition of nuclear reactor, whatever it was, to get to this result? I could not do it. But I knew this was the final. So I started from the back to the beginning. In a way, I wrote the result to the top, and I went back to reverse to the question. And I wrote in a way at the bottom, Professor Leslie, read the answer back to front. From the bottom page, come to the front, you'll get the answer. It's just because I knew from one end will go to the other, either end you start, you go back to the other side. It was huge calculus and everything else, integrations, and you have a dimension of expansion of a reactor in different dimensions, time, space, and everything else. In a way, in that time, I realized I understand fully exactly how the plasma works. You give me in the matter state, I go to its energy, and from the energy, I can come back to matter. How nuclear reactors, fusion goes, and fission hands over, and seeing the reactor, this question. And this is exactly where we are in the science of man. We know one end. We haven't learned how to go to the other and what is needed to change. Part of this problem, especially in today's science of man, is the fault of Einstein. He brought deliberate assumptions as part of the work of misunderstanding the science. Energy equal whatever, whatever. If you put all assumptions and miscalculations he did to write this down to get to this point to make himself famous, has brought the same pattern. The science of today does not understand where the energy is, where the mass is, and where the speed is. You don't need to change much. It's just you have to understand has nothing to do with the speed of light. It's a connection between the energy and mass. If Einstein would have not made such a stupid mistake, which has brought the science backwards by decades, and we cannot get into the head of our scientists that speed has nothing to do with, if you understand the true dimension of energy and mass. You consider gravity, which he ignored. You consider what we call dimension of the expansion of the what we call the energy. He ignored, and everything else in a way goes back to what it is, what we explain energy, magnetic field in motion. And then when you stop it, the motion of it, then you have gravity. You get solid state, you get mass. And as simple as that, but you have to bring every other questions into it. And this is where the world of science today, most of our geniuses are hitting the block. All you have to do is take out this stupid assumption of what Einstein did and then put it in front of a 2-year-old child, explain to them the energy and explain to them gravity and the mass, and then you are, what's got to do with the light? But if you plan something to do, it's like pi 3.14 blah blah blah. Whatever you do, you have that what we call factor into it, so it works out to be mc squared and the rest of it. And this is where most of us as knowledge seekers have to become aware of how misguided we have become. And because one ignorant Jewish guy in the name of Einstein and the rest have brought him to be very big because they wanted to have somebody equal somewhere else. And then we saw the British repeated with the same ignorant with Stephen Hawking going through the same thing. Ignorant people, people who have no knowledge of creation, have become the symbol of science. As I said, I was talking to a lawyer very recently. If the world of science did what NASA is trying to do with Van Braun, deleting his name and his work from most of the works in the background, they cannot delete some of it, that he became the father of space of United States, then we get these two off the record, and then we start with a new science of our children in the schools understand the relationship between the magnetic field and the mass. Nothing to do with the light. And then if we understand that mass and its energy inertia has in a lot to do with expansion of the magnetic field, then we understand everything to do with the world of creation. In a way, the easiest way for you to understand, to taste the plasma, to understand how it behaves, give it the temperature and give it a bit of pressure, is get a bowl of jelly. Make a not the running jelly, but a better tough jelly, and put it in your mouth and squeeze it. See how you feel. If the energy and the taste is in the dimension and this expression of the emotion with some scent or whatever, you enjoy this pressure and the taste of a strawberry, for example. Squeeze it a bit harder, see where it expands, where you feel the pressure in your mouth. And then you understand, oh, this place has like a mass. Then, if you understood this, you come to understand the most amazing thing about the world of creation. If you go back to past 2-3 days of teaching, weeks of teaching, I speak about frequency and the pulse, and how you bring a plasma into condition of the wave, magnetic field, and creation of the fields. Is it too hard for you to understand how creature was and how creator is? Very simple. Get the brain of the man. Add a frequency and a pulse to it. It's a plasma. It gives you emotion. It gives you expression. It converts into motion. And in a way, if you want to understand the real true essence of the understanding of the work of the, what we call creation as a plasma, as a world of creation of magnetic fields, you have it in front of you. A little bit hard jelly, and you hammer it with a heartbeat. What does it create? Magnetic field, emotion, life. Then you understand man has not even understood the simplest things about his own creation, let alone tries to explain the anomalies about everything else. You get excited, you run, your heartbeat goes up, pulse increases, which is that pulse. Fear makes you run. Love makes you run. You convert the energy of the emotion into motion, physicality. Does it have anything to do with the speed? Or is it just a conversion of magnetic fields, which you call it emotion, which came from the pulse on a jelly substance, which you put in your mouth, but it's now is your brain, and what do you get? Mismatch it where the inside pulses, physical condition is higher than the outside, you get the brain hemorrhage. You create new magnetic fields faster, which in the conversion to matter blows up the energy of the cell of the body of the brain of the man. Paralysis. Physicality damage. Conversion of the energy cannot be converted into mass in the physical dimension of the run, or conversion of the emotion gives you burning of the brain cells, and as simple as that. Volcanic eruption from the center of the universe gives the hemorrhage to the man who does not understand it. There is no difference. Without the pulse, there is no life. There is no condition to create. You come across your lover and you want to be with, and the heartbeat goes up and the brain comes in a different pulse emotion. The same heartbeat creates love, creates attention, creates every other emotion, where the same heartbeat in a different, what we call pulse, created the running, the fear, and the rest. Fraction of the seconds in the change of the pulse, in the change of the frequency, creates different reaction in physical dimension of the man, emotion-wise and physical-wise. How hard is for the man to understand the difference between the energy and mass? And do we need it? stupid man like Einstein to put such a thing on that, as we say in Farsi, the beautiful say, it takes one crazy man to drop a stone in a water well, and it takes 40 intelligent men to find a way to get it out. And we are 40 intelligent men, which the rest of humanity, to sort out one crazy man coming up with this formula. And then if you understand this, and you can convert one back to the other, knowing where you are, what is the end products, and understanding where you started, then it comes to a very simple solution. It's back to the exam room. The teacher gives you the beginning and the end, and it says get from there to there, because you know how you do. After pages and pages of formula, you still put it down because you know the way. And this is where our science has got stuck. Our people don't see from one end to another because they only see one end, and one stupid man has stuck it to that point, has put a string attached to their leg and nailed it to a starting point. As I said very recently in a meeting, if, and what we've seen in the past 2.5 years with a bunch of ignorant criminals creating mayhem, killing tens of thousands and stopping the humanity to progress, we've seen the same thing slaughtering the mankind in the science by one man, and they're both Jewish. Criminality on the name of a religion, in science and in race. Now you understand the process where we have made a mistake, where we have to understand when you have this amazing equation. The stupid guy said E is equal to MC squared. Just throw it into the bin and understand very easy. Energy is equal to mass. Depends if you take it as magnetic field in motion or taking it the magnetic field in a stationary condition. Inertia attached to nothing but itself. If you squeeze the energy, you get a wave, which has a physicality, which is the mass. What's got to do with the light? Because you have not understood everything else. A magician has fooled you. If you understand this point, if you understand how easily energy, which is in plasma condition, under condition of a pulse, creates the emotion, which gives you a condition of a mass, then you understand only you need two factors. One, a constant, which is the initial, the total energy of itself, and then what strength field this energy reaches to another point in respect to the condition of. When a man becomes a man of space and universes, you come to understand the masses are different in a mass matter condition or in a mass energy condition. The mass energy condition, it depends on the process of the creation of the creator, where the mass as we have, and we say the mass is constant in every point in the universe, is not the same in every point in the unicos. Because in the unicos, the relevant energy is the energy from the magnetic field in motion of the creator, not out of the interaction of. Because the condition is dictated in that universe by the unicos magnetic field strength. In a way, if we understand it, energy, as we call it in this universe, is conditioned to the universal mass energy, not unicos mass energy. And once the world of science understands this, man reaches finds the key to travel across universes, let alone universe. In a way, the energy plasma condition created for this universe is conditioned in the total condition of other universes, plus the energy which comes from the center, which we call the original creator. So our energy, which is the mass plasma of the totality itself, is product of another interaction. In a way, that energy is the mass, and the mass we get is the weight condition of the location of the universe in that unicos. Once man understands this and understands how to connect it, allows man to travel in the unicos at the speed of the travel in the universes, with addition and understanding the condition of manifestation in that inertial position in the universe. You also what we created in Beijing in May. With small changes, we would have produced different material because we changed the condition of the environment mass. This is where the problem sits. This is where the world of science has to move on. And once we understand, nothing in the universe can be magic. It's just finding which part between the head and the tail in the equation of conformation we set. It's very simple. When you understand, in a condition of plasma, in a condition of matter, what affects what and what you have to calculate, everything else becomes simple. In the matter state, you call it the pressure, the temperature. In the energy state, you call it the magnetic field strength. The condition and composition of the fields, which leads to manifestation of the mass. As I said last week, you see a flat, waveless water of the ocean. Has no manifestation and is constant. And there it comes, somebody pushes it, a boat passes, a wind comes, and then pushes the mass in one point. And what you get is the waves that they can destruct, become tsunami and the rest of it. What pressure you put in one place shows itself as a mass in another place, which in the interaction of the masses create massive damage. The same applies to the wind, the same applies to the energy, where its magnetic field in motion in the life of the man is the wind in motion. Then, when you understand this, nothing in universe is unique. Nothing in universe is any different than the working, understanding, the condition of the pulse, the condition of the frequency, the condition of the interaction of what pressure applied in a magnetic field, condition field strength, which creates a matter state in the matter state. Energy of an atom and how it manifests itself as atomic energy. One is yin and one is yang, and they are interconnected. And where the separation has come is the lack of understanding of the knowledge of creation by man. Exactly as has been how and where magnetic field of the earth changes from gravity going in from the South Pole and coming in the North Pole. How does it change? It doesn't change. It's the same thing. Body of the planet is solid. and the field rotates. But for a man, one is North Pole and one is South Pole. In fact, it's the same thing with the creation of the universe. It's the same thing with the creation of the plasma. It's the same structure in the atomic structure, magnetic field of electron, proton, and everything else. If world of science, the way you knowledge seekers understand, works in a way of the connection of magnetic fields and understanding when the second interaction of the environment leads to mass, then the whole equation of the creation is complete. One side, magnetic field strength changes in 2 dimensions in reference to the original field strength of the creator, which is hydrogen. And then on the other side, because of the interaction of the same fields coming from 2 different directions, by interaction with the field of the other part of the universe, one slightly is different than the other, you create one to be the inertial, which is the lower but fixed, then to the one which is the higher, you create that wave which comes like a resistance of the beach to the water coming in, forcing creation of a wave, then you create mass. But that mass is part of the plasma itself. That mass was the emotion that you run. That mass was the short of the breath when you hug, you cuddle and kiss your lover. One created a fear of run, one creates an emotion of a cuddle and transfer of energy as love. And then if you can't handle it, it becomes your brain stroke and the rest of it, because now the energy mass of the fields in the pulses of the blood has to interact. If we redefine, if we explain the way, how simple it is, now give this key to a child which just starts education and understands the true meaning of the mass and energy, you think the humanity in science will be at this point? I was in a meeting this morning explaining to someone of the science of nuclear, and I explained in a very simple way. The knowledge humanity has at the age of quantum and nuclear and whatever, compared to the knowledge which you have, knowledge seekers, the science of the plasma, GANs and the rest of it, is so insignificant, the present knowledge, that it will not even be counted. And the only reason is you start working with the energy, with the understanding and the work of the creator, not with the dimension of the man for centuries moving from the Stone Age to Iron Age and God knows now nuclear age, and then the destruction of the man, because it's worthwhile for some people to keep man in a condition of ignorance, because the other side, they cannot add anything from it to confirm their position and power. I made man in the image of myself because I have no interaction with the pulses of the creation. Where I made man in the image of myself, where in fact is the image of the creator. The only thing is man has added the emotion of greed, war, killing and the rest to it. The image is mine, but the face is fake. Created energy in motion, magnetic field in motion. For what reason? To show the beauty of mind. But when it falls in the hand of the wrong fields and condition of the matter, becomes tsunami, hurricanes and the rest of it. And that's what man is in the dimension of creation. That hurricane, that tsunami, which creates mayhem for the world and beauty of the water, which created nothing but life. if we understand this and we bring a new science in balance, that where the energy in the plasma condition and energy in the matter condition is energy of an atom or atomic energy, and we understand this and we connect it to each other, man will live in the oyster of the creation of the universe and unicos. All it needs to do is to understand which pressure, which field, what strength, what condition, at what position in time, which brings the emotion to create that condition in that given time. Now you understand the whole science of creation is the creator of time, but itself is conditioned on the emotion and the field strength of the motion of an field strength of a given condition. Mass is the bottom end, or the, in a way, extreme end, opposite to the energy, when one is not existing and the other one is prevailing more than the other. Once we understand this, we can transfer energies into any masses and any masses into energy, completing the cycle of what we call creation. If knowledge seekers understand this, if those who come across the understanding of the knowledge of the energy as magnetic field in motion in the future, and be able to manipulate it by interacting the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh dimension into it, then you understand, we understand both the world of the creation and dimension of the matter created. You have to consider expansion of time. You have to consider expansion of the pressure. You have to consider the expansion of the temperature. You have to consider the expansion of the time in all three dimensions. You have to consider every other thing which can be part of and don't ignore, which becomes the integrated, what we call field strength and condition and a position and time. Then you understand the process. I explained to you in a very simple way how we try to get from one equation to another, and the process of understanding, going to, God knows, maybe 30, 40, 50 lines of explanation. In this equation, when we sat down with Professor Leslie, it was very simple. I said to him, you know, Professor Leslie, you are not considering the creator of it. Where is the magnetic field which creates this condition? He said, this doesn't apply. I said, no, it applies in every way, because without it, we don't have this. What's the integration of the factor of 5 and 6 and 7, the time, the expansion, the heat, and everything else, when you don't consider the mother, the creator, the initiator? We consider everything, what and how it manifests itself in the matter state, but we don't consider what created it. And this is where our science has stopped. And now everything which we don't understand in the matter state has baffled our scientists. We have to train ourselves and the future generation to understand the true essence of the energy as a magnetic field. And then we understand we can create a magnet of anything at any point and any strength we need. Past few weeks, I laugh. And it makes me wonder in how, man, if they had the knowledge of what we teach in Keshe Foundation, understanding the process of the plasma energy as a magnetic field in motion, half of the industries in Europe and in Japan and America, which now is stuck for what? Small magnets, which are produced specifically in China. China has got hold of the world of automation by not releasing rare earth materials with their specific magnetic fields. If you were knowledge seekers, you know how to produce, as we did in May in China, the rare earth materials which carry a specific magnetic field strength, which you can create in the position of the production. Goodbye, China. You can put blockage as much as you like. I make a better, precise magnet myself when I make the material. And the moment man has to mine, then he has to refine, and then he has to add a condition of field strength to it to become a specific job magnet. Where with the new plasma technology, when you understand how to interact the fields of, you create that matter magnetic field at the point of inception, creation of the matter. Then why do we give you these cosmic ray balls? Hold them, those of you who have 2 of them, and then create different emotion. Give with one hand and take with the other. Transfer the energy, and then you understand magnetic field emotion. See what emotion it creates in your body and your soul. They're not the games. These are the tools of the conformation of energy, magnetic field emotion. And then your brain is that beach, and the field energy and the tsunami which manifests itself as a loving whoosh of the wave on the beach, or a splash that becomes destroyer of everything else. I always said my biggest wish for the world of science of present generation is that we could turn the clock back and wipe the name of Einstein from everything in the world of science, and teach man how everything works in the true essence of it. If you go back to the work of Da Vinci, when he explains the details, intricacy of the physics, of chemistry, of biology of, he understood. He understood the totality. He understood how to convert one to another. And then if we come forward with what he understood and wipe out the name of Einstein from the world of science, you or children will become the scientists of the space in no time. You feel the essence of how physical energy, chemistry creates condition of life, where he could understand the atomic structure and he could see the reaction in the muscle tissues of the man, with emotion, energy added to it. Next time, when you are with your child, with your lover, with your wife, with your husband, with your dog, with your cat, observe your emotion and how your emotion changes. And then at that point, try to understand the heartbeat in your body, the pulses. And then you will understand fully what the world of creation, mass, energy are connected. You caress the cat lovingly, and the cat suddenly pushes something or you scratches you, and the same love changes to force of anger and throwing the cat or punishing the cat. The mass of the cat hasn't changed. The mass of the human being hasn't changed. Magnetic field in motion receive different pulses. One become anger and one is a stroke of love. One is the matter energy of the emotion and one is energy of the matter in anger. There is no difference. And the whole world of science is connected, is part of, and it's the totality of. Once the man understands the pressures of the magnetic field, the strength, and the condition of the pulses and the frequencies and everything else which lives in the world of creation. I made man in the image of myself, but I did not give the man the pulses of me. And man has made the mess in the frequency of the matter state, creation of his matter state of physicality of the body of the man. The image of me is the soul of the man, without the factor of the pressures, without the factor of the emotion of the pulses, which created by the dimension of the soul of physicality, which is the heartbeat of the man. One is the essence and one is the cause. And then we see the effect. And one trying to match in the dimension of what we call field strength to be of the soul of the creator's strength field, creates a man which is always short, can never reach, and then for him to reach that point, gets a man to kill, to destroy, and the wars and the rest of it. Isn't it true that what we eat, we kill to eat, and everything else is to get our soul of physicality to the dimension of the field strength of our soul that we become equal to, then become balance of, then become part of the bigger? That shortage of trying to reach that balance of the soul leads man to kill. But if we can give that energy to the soul of the man, does man need the dimension of physicality to kill for? The one which he tries to achieve in the dimension of physicality to match his soul of physicality to the soul of the creator, which is the reflection of it, has made man to kill. What you don't have, you steal. But we steal life. We steal other lives to confirm the condition of physicality can be equal or the same as, pretending to be, and then not succeeding, becoming the soul on its own to become part of back again that drop in the ocean of the life of the creation. Conversion of one to another, energy to mass, and the mass in this messy job creates a condition for it to become back to the energy of the what we call the drop back in the ocean of the life of the creator. This is the purpose. That's why now you might understand why we're promoting these communication units. Because through it, connection with it, what we create, we balance, we give energy that man does not need to kill to receive across this planet. Then man will move on. Then man has time to understand itself. As I said very recently in a meeting, is fashionable. We become vegetarian not to kill the animals. It'll become very fashionable very soon to become what we call cosmic ray guy or plasmatic guy, that not only I don't even kill the vegetables, I take the energy from the universe, so I'm plasmatic, not vegetarian. I don't kill. I follow the philosophy, understanding the knowledge of the creation through the field strength of the creator, and not destroying another package for me to survive. We are all thieves. We're all got our hand to the rim in the blood of the creation because we never understood that we do not need the dimension of physicality. Killable. But we appreciate, we understand the dimension of physicality was for the joy of being there, not the joy of killing to be there. I wished in the past few weeks and months how much if we bring the what we call the aliens of the living in this planet and see how us as people will learn from them. They don't kill. They have no need to destroy. There is no mouth and there is no stomach to feed, but to absorb the energy and convert the energy into mass to manifest themselves in the dimension of physicality of the man for man to see. If the others have reached this level of understanding in the universe, what is wrong with man that does not want to understand? The beauty of it is when you reach that point, you don't need to be a king. You don't need to be the top man. You are one of the men. And then you understand the beauty of totality because it's not a competition. It's a coexistence that you want to coexist and enjoy the beauty of the fields of the others. Because every interaction and pulse only creates another life when it comes across another field dimension inertia. We are all isotopes of the soul of the Creator. I made man in the image of myself in the dimension of soul, and him in respect to the field inertia of his environment manifests itself, conducts itself, and lives itself according to time, place, and position and emotion. So we are in soul the essence of it. That drop which came from the cup and the spoon, which came from the ocean of the soul of the Creator, but in interacting with other fields which come from another part of the same impression and interaction of the others, and the condition of physicality of the magnetic field inertia of the earth has created me in the dimension of physicality. In essence, in soul, I am that drop from the soul, from the cup of the life of the Creator. But on the other hand, my physicality is connected to interaction of many others. I have to find a solution for it to be equal as the energy which I receive from the Creator, and not the effect which is created, the shortfall that is made my hand red with blood of killing. The faster we manage to develop and deliver these, what we call again with the carrots and the stick, as a coin with jewel out across this planet, the faster will bring an end to the cycle of destruction, and in a way elevating the soul of the man, that no man needs to do anything to kill and destroy. We reach back to the state of Mitra. We have no reason to kill. We have no greed to be higher, as we are all equal and enjoy being in that position. We are not communists, but we understand each one of us has a beauty of adding to the totality. We talk good because we have the essence of, and with it, we do good. And we go back to the essence of Mitra and Zoroaster, which is the essence, the beauty of the existence of the Creator. That is rich, he doesn't have the greed to think bad, to achieve, to receive, to be higher. He doesn't do and he doesn't think wrong because he's a possessor of everything. And once man reaches that point that I am complete within myself, with the energy fields of the Creator, then man reaches a point of maturity to understand. The dimension of physicality is to see, to enjoy the pleasure of his creation, not to destroy and kill what is created for me to become, to maybe reach the level of what already am in the dimension of the soul of the man. Once our scientists understand this, once humanity, which become the scientists of the creation, understand this, one will realize that man is dimension of physicality, is beautiful of his soul. It's man who has to appreciate the beauty of his own existence and understand the connection of the energy of the creator and the physicality dimension of existence. Then no magician will be 3I or 2R or to stupidity of the man with no intelligence, that's called the greed, and then man will complete itself. Understand and try to throw the what he calls C square away and try to understand what is connection, energy as magnetic field in motion, which has no conditional environment, which is the plasma of the creator, and the condition of the inertia of the matter state. And then energy is equal to mass, where energy is magnetic field in motion, and then the mass is interaction of the same with the inertia of its time, place, and position. Then you don't need to make assumptions and make a fool of yourself and coming up with another position to create yourself another God and prophet and the rest. Once you understand, and once you stand on your leg, you can jump, leap, and do everything else because you understood the beauty of having legs and understanding how to use it to the benefit of the physicality. If you run that physicality to the wall and bash yourself to it, it shows you have not understood the essence of the creation. Try to bring about a total understanding of the science of the creation. Then you don't need to make no assumptions. Be it about the speed, be it about emotion, be it about every other thing which you have made assumptions to confirm your existence. We are all lovers, which we have missed the path to our lover. The one who loves us, which is the creator. And we pretend to be the false lovers in just simply we have not understood the essence of the transfer of the energy from creator to us. You don't need no prophets, you don't need no gurus as you become the teacher of yourself. And then you understand, as a teacher does, how to teach his physicality to be, in a way, replication of the soul of the creator. Ask yourself, when you see these pictures of they show you of the aliens, what is their mouth? They don't need to consume, as they take what they need, what's available in the environment to live. Please understand the teaching of today. Understand the difference between the mass and energy, and understand they are connected with it. Then you are more intelligent than the most advanced scientist in CERN and every other part of the nuclear industry and plasma technology of this planet. We go for a break, we come back, and I hope I open your eyes into the dimension of understanding how you are part of the soul of the creator. And it's only you who denies the beauty of enjoying it. But take us for a break and we come back and see where the knowledge takes us.
Very good. And thank you, Mr. Kesh. Okay, we will take a short break and be back with the second part. And I'll remind our attendees here in the Zoom, you'll have an opportunity to raise your virtual hand and we can open your microphone if you would like to ask a question. Otherwise, if you would like to type in a question into the Q&A or the chat here in the Zoom, that would be fine, as well as in the chat in YouTube.
I think for the break, just use the pictures you received. The next mainly.
Okay.
That'll be better what we wrote. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I have a number of pictures. Let's see, because I think there was 19 altogether. We can probably just go through them. And these are of the Christmas products. So let me share desktop here. And I believe we see in this picture, for example, the sort of little dioramas, I guess you might say, inside of a container. And Mr. Kesh has said with the Halloween ones that this substance on the bottom is like a resin, but has embedded GANS material in it as well. And all of these products will have that feature, the embedded GANs, so far as I know. Let me carry on here. Some of these are relatively traditional Christmas icons, the mistletoe and bells and that kind of thing. But I don't think in traditions they've ever embedded GANs into the products of the past. So this is a whole other dimension.
The reason we promoted these is just that the gases used in these structures are specific for peace and balance of soul. And we would like for those of you who receive it, use it as decoration as you do with lights or whatever on your Christmas tree. Observe the changes in your family and even yourself in how these bring changes by the end of the festival season. How, when these are sold as a package, you give one to one member of family and now to the other, you put one in one side of the house or to the other, and see how your connection changes with the people who you give a gift to and or within the household. Because you put the Christmas trees away, you put the decoration away. These are ornaments that can sit anywhere around the house. And then it can bring the change in the household. In a way, in every essence of it, you bring a change. There is a very limited number of 2 games which we have especially put into this series. One is a chess game, which is the game of war, to win, to kill. But we brought in the ingredients of the material, this is the picture you see now, the essence of peace and balance. In a way, I wonder those of you who hold this, you play with this, would you find another dimension to this game where you don't need to kill, to destroy? When this was proposed, I thought about it. And the composition in this is very precise. that would you go and play with this game, and what happened to it, to your emotion? Would you keep it as a decoration because it makes a peace with you and balance of peace with you when you hold this, what we call figures in your hand and the table? The table is transparent, which allows the field dimension of the yin and yang, South Pole and North Pole, and it's deliberately made that way. And it's very interesting how, for example, there's another game with a backgammon, which you might see the same position. Would you change in the dimension as you hold this? You transfer different energy, different position in interaction of different fields. Go back to what I call the man who made this board game. The king asked, "What do you need for such a thing?" He said, "Put 1 grain of rice in the first square and then double it to the next one. And then that'll be the totality you can give me as a gift." And when they calculated and put all of the number of grains of rice, which came by multiplication of it, there was not enough grains in the what we call kingdom to give to the man. Now imagine every single one of these plus the what we call the pattern of the field of interaction creates such a diversity of the fields that in a way fulfills every energy of the man needed. I would like to know, those of you who get this board, how it'll change you, how you feel every time you touch one. And would it take you to the step to kill? It's the challenge of the soul. And this is why this year we went this way. And everything, even if you see those pendulum hanging, they're all filled with different field energies of the what we call peace and balance of the soul of the man and energy the man needs. Very interesting to see the outcome, how you as knowledge seekers will look at what we call or feel after having these around you for 12 days. And even if you put it in a box in the house, it's still in different places, you create that environment in the house till next year. This is exactly what the communication unit with the plasmatic fields will do with the special antennas which gets added to it. But this time it's not the Christmas tree, it's the whole planet which will bring change to. Carry on, it's very interesting. Ornaments with a purpose, touching the soul of the man and man's emotion, which has never been done before. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Welcome. There's a very limited edition of these. And it's very interesting what and how will change. I leave the rest to you.
Yeah, I have to reverse out of this to...
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I can deal with that later. Let me see. Okay, I think we're more or less back to normal here. Would you like to carry on into the second part now, Mr. Kesh? Or should I play something as a short break for you?
No, it's okay, no problem.
There was one other thing we should show, which is the GANS soap bar that I was given a link to as well. So let me bring that product up before we keep going.
This is lined to interact with every time you wash your hand or whatever, or you leave it in the bathroom, whatever, to interact with you.
Oops, just a second here.
This is in the shape of what they call the Christmas celebration parts. And some has what we call specific order which fits the time.
So my instructions on this is that the new sense
instructions.
Well, my hints on the product is the new sense of autumn and winter. I guess maybe it says it here too. No, the new sense of autumn and winter. K Plasma Care soap bars are. Kesh Plasma Care soap bars are now available for individual purchase. There's blood orange, there's pumpkin spice, ginger lime, vanilla, and pomegranate that have been are the new ones available. Apparently they're on the bottom here, and they're all at 99 euros for those packages. All right, good. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions you would like us to answer?
Yes, let me see here.
Maybe I can mention something which is very important to us. We have received a beautiful gift from one of the knowledge seekers, which will change the course of the work of the Keshe Foundation, especially in what we set out to do, to make what we call man not having greed for material state like gold. This opportunity will change a lot of things for us, and we could not even imagine we could have such a gift. And I would like to thank the individual from the bottom of my heart, because it allows us to make gold literally worthless, that so many men have died for. It allows us to create a condition of the what we call production in a mass that man will not have more value for it, and it brings a condition of peace. And as we announced in Market Corporation announcement last week, production of material, this becomes like any other material, and it loses its position and power, which many have killed for. And I'd like to thank the knowledge seeker for making this phase of the work so beautifully easy for us. And I hope we can deliver what we set out with this, and as fast as we can do, and we are making every arrangement for it to become part of, once it's in our hand, and to bring the change. It's a massive boost in our work and creating the condition of peace. And in a way to bring that world peace one step closer, because now we can create that condition. And it's just a gift from what I call the soul of pure soul of our knowledge seekers. And it allows us to bring that change for the first time. We're in that position to do it without lying and looking for somewhere to receive, to be able to do. If there are any questions, we can answer, please.
Before we begin the questions, I'd like to show you something that's just a link in the internet that's just popped up that it seems to exemplify what you were speaking about today. And I had already clipped the link out a couple of days ago, I think, or actually it was just yesterday. Let me show it here, and I'll explain what I mean. It's an article from space.com, which is an astronomy type site there. And the header, the title is Scientists Solve the Mystery of, quote, Impossible Merger of, quote, Forbidden Black Holes. And the subtitle is, once you consider magnetic fields, you can actually explain the origins of this unique event. And what they talk about, they have an artist's kind of concept of the merger of two black holes. And what's happened is their science wasn't adding up. The way they calculate using their gravitational waves and using Einstein's calculations, and beyond everything that's based on that, of course, and it's been building up for, well, geez, it's almost 100 years now. This has caused a problem. The calculations just haven't worked out. And just recently, they talk about here, it's quite amazing that the researchers from this Flatiron Institute Center for Computational Astrophysics in New York tackled this puzzle by performing simulations that recreated this system's evolution through the lives of the progenitor stars all the way to their supernova deaths. This revealed a simple factor that hadn't been properly considered in the process before: magnetic fields. No one has considered these systems the way we did. Previously, astronomers just took a shortcut and neglected the magnetic fields. Team leader or Gotcha, astrophysicist at the CAA, said in a statement, but once you consider magnetic fields, you can actually explain the origins of this unique event. That is the merger of the black holes. And it was forbidden because they didn't think it was possible. But once they received the actual signal of this going on, they realized, oops, our calculations must be off, that it must be possible after all. Well, how could that be? So they had a gap in their information and a gap in their knowledge, a very big gap, apparently. And they now... they talk about the spin of this black hole, and they concluded that something must account for this tremendous masses of these black holes. And sure enough, it has to do with the magnetic factor that was left out. And now they can explain it. They filled this, what they call the mass gap. And they were actually stunned by this, that they measured this, these black holes, because they really thought it was not possible. And it has to do with the spinning of these magnetic fields. Makes all the difference. And it says if the magnetic fields are powerful enough, half of the star's initial mass can be blasted away. The net result, a weak magnetic field, results in less deprivation of matter and a final black hole that sits within the mass gap. We found the presence of rotation and magnetic fields may fundamentally change the post-collapse evolution of the star, making black hole mass potentially significantly lower than the total mass of the collapsing star. So they're talking about basically turning mass into energy, and it didn't work out before with their E equals mc squared connections, the way I figure it anyways. And so they found that the creation of these black holes is associated with a burst of gamma rays, which are detectable. And should such a detection be made, scientists will have made a major step forward in our understanding of black holes. So, yeah, it's all about these magnetic fields that were, I mean, it's kind of obvious in a way. You would think they would consider magnetic fields, but they've been so into gravity that they forgot about the magnetic factor. And I think that's just stunning. It's a stunning omission of knowledge. And now they're going to have to patch things up, do some rapid patching up of the past.
I think once we realize that it's like when you make a cake and you don't talk about the flour, you cannot have the cake. It's just egg and what we call the butter and the milk or whatever and the sugar. You don't have the essence of its creation, manifestation. And this is where it's been missing, and what is missing, and gradually the world of science will start looking at it. It goes back to a very simple principle which I explained. When we teach for the universe. And when we teach, we enlighten the soul of those who receive the knowledge and the soul of the knowledge. And this is what you now understand. Gradually, scientists will start. Some listen to the teaching, some get enlightened by the information in the level of the soul, which allows man to progress. Ask yourself one question: why didn't man up to now ever did this? We enlighten the souls, and the souls find the solution in physicality. And we'll see more and more understanding and breakthroughs because the knowledge is released. Now the souls have to bring the conversion. And gradually will come. Some of these teachings of past 500 and odd will become iconic in the future knowledge and teaching of the science to our future generation. Because none of the teaching is tainted with greed. None of the teaching is all been taught with pure sincerity through the soul. And it will touch the soul of the man. It will bring that position. And it'll bring an essence of completion, where, as you say, up to now, man didn't consider magnetic field, is what we say, we see the soul with the pure intention of sharing knowledge through the soul. And then you see these things gradually, it brings a time. Man listens to the voice as a teaching. We listen to the emotion of the fields of knowledge which we give to the souls. Man hears with the ear, and it's limited if you listen to the teaching. But when we teach to the soul, the knowledge given purely for elevation of the all races of Creator, then you understand, gradually we'll come to that point. If there are any questions, if you read what you're explaining, read the paper in the creation of black hole and connect it correctly, you'll come to this point. What is getting published in this format, in whatever, with the black holes, is already published in 2005 or 20 years ago. The creation of black hole.
And that this could have big ramifications and implications for the atomic level as well, I would think, because again, they haven't really included the magnetic factor into the reactors and other means of
they do it now. Yeah, they do it now with CERN and fusion. They have not learned about the environmental change with the magnetic fields.
They try to control the plasma with the magnetic fields, but they're trying to control it externally more than internally.
No, in a way you have to collaborate, not enforce. That's what the difference is. You have to understand and bring the collaboration of magnetic fields with the matter state, and then you get a duality, as you see it with gases. Sometimes it behaves as an energy, and then sometimes you carry it as nothing in your pocket. We had a very interesting case which was brought to our attention from one of knowledge seekers with the balls, cosmic ray balls, which has changed color, and it was not, and it looks less. I explained to them to this is that these cosmic rays are exactly as you have gases in your gas boxes, but in a much different level. And so they interact with the environment. You them one day they're too black, one day there's less, and then the next day it's more. It depends what you've taken from it. If you have consumed the whole food, what do you expect to be on the plate? Which means you received, you've changed. Now look what change has appeared in you. Or what change has appeared in the environment you put these bowls. Because they were a lot happy that they had a lot of gold in. I have 2 spoons from the May exhibition, and it had gold material in it, and there's nothing left in there. I was searching for it a couple of days ago. See, where is the material in this spoon? It's gone. And I was wondering, okay, it's gone. Let's see, what's the reason? Yes, you know what happened. I have bags. I put these spoons in the, what do you call it, compartment in the section where there's much more of. So yes, I've transferred everything without, unknowingly in a way. I should have kept them separate. Depleted. I cannot show anyone this is the material we produced in May and there's nothing in the spoon, because I have transferred energy into the other materials which are in the same, what we call, box. We have to understand the principle, and then we understand the answer. We find that solution. And this is it. By the way, the cosmic ray pulse will be part of connection to equal in value to cash coins in exchange. And in a coming soon time, will be connected to the same value as the shares in market, which means you can exchange anything amongst knowledge seekers as part of the internal structure of the Keshe Foundation. Your coin with a cosmic ray ball, your cosmic ray ball with the shares in market corporation. We'll accept equal shares to the same value by the Keshe Foundation in specific pre-agreed conditions, which puts one share at about €1,000. But this is part of the structure with the government, and then in a future time we explain how. But internally, Keshe Foundation will put its own shares, which we hold some 2.9 billion shares in option and holding, as equal value to the cosmic ray and the cash coin, which means governments and individuals can internally exchange for the value of the same. And I think the most valuable thing to hold is cosmic ray balls, because we'll explain how much they're worth, much more than what is on the paper. We will limit the delivery of the cosmic ray balls. We think there's enough of it. We put a few more in the in sales to keep the limited edition structure for the value of what it is. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I'll remind our attendees here in the Zoom that you can raise your virtual hand, and then we can open your microphone so that you can speak. If you would like to ask a question, please put up your virtual hand. Okay, in our Q&A, we have a number of questions. First, we probably should address, or maybe you don't want to address, from anonymous attendee, can you explain to us the meaning of the word Einstein in Farsi? I think you did that one time, and
we better pass that one.
you want to pass on that one? Okay, that's probably a good idea.
Let me put it this way: Einstein and, if you remember, Princess Anne have one common thing with each other, and so it starts with excrement of man, and one fits the other in his name. So we just passed this one.
Okay.
The body with excrement, that's what it actually means. Tan means body. And I think it fits the man. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. From Paulo in our Q&A, it says, great Professor Kesh, can we consider the souls of the ship inhabitants as also being the soul of man? If not, could they be soulless? Is this designation soul of man restricted to Earth? If not, then could you say that all the souls in the universe, except the soul of the Creator, are designated as the soul of man created in the greenhouse Earth, the seedbed of souls in the universe?
There are many, many what they call greenhouses in the universe. It's not the exclusivity of man. But in a way, we collective soul, collective what we call non-dimensional physical dimension of fields, we call it the soul. You can't tangibly touch it. It holds its own. Yeah, it's a containment of its own by itself. And it's very interesting that man always wants to think that he is still, after proving there's nothing in the universe, is still the center of being the soul, as creator of the souls of the whole universe. The process of creation as a life with the intelligence, and not really intelligence, with emotion. Intelligence is the factor of physicality. Emotion is a factor of creator. Is not the exclusivity of this, and it belongs to every corner of his soul. And once in one lecture I explained the central line, what we call black hole of the planet, actually shows which way our, what do you call it, our creator is moving towards. It's very, very interesting. If you look at the central line of the universe, as we have pictures created for it, and we know it exists because we know our universe is in motion at such a high speed internally, 1 million kilometers or miles or whatever per hour. And if it is in that kind of motion we see, it has to go in certain direction. What this direction is, it's like you see the body of a man running, but you know what he's running towards, running away from, till you see what's the point of vision. We have to see where our central line is and in which direction it is moving it. Then we understand our creator, what we call our God, is moving to somewhere. He's up to something. The rotation and the direction of the motion of the rotation of this universe is not just because it's there. As it's dynamic, it interacts, is interacting with something, is moving towards. Our creator, our God, our universe is on the move. We talk about things but we don't understand, we don't want to understand, we never had time to sit, we've been too busy killing. Now that stop the killing, man has got a lot to understand about the source of creation. If they tell us, it's very simple, let me put it this way. If you're moving towards something or you're running away from something. You're moving away from something. If our planet is dynamic, we see it, this magnetic field moves, we have our atmosphere moving, it rotates around the sun on a regular pattern of 365 days, and we see other planetary system and their moons have the same moral characteristics. And we see our sun is moving, is in motion with the speed within its galaxy. And then our galaxy is moving as we see other galaxies in collision course with somewhere, or shaking hands with another galaxy, who might be sisters saying hello to each other. Then it cannot be any different for our universe, which we call our world. And where is our creator running to? To the lover, or running away from mistress, as I call it. Because we don't know where it came from. We are that cell in the, let's say, the liver of the man who doesn't know of, he's not aware of existence of the liver, let alone its function in the body, let alone the whole body, and then let alone the soul which creates and moves that body. We are in that position. We are sitting blind. And now the world of science, our knowledge, understanding of the plasma energy fields in transfer, we should take another look at the picture of this universe instead of seeing where's the black hole, seeing in which direction this black hole is moving. And then, if you're moving to something in the direction of, and you have no enemies, are you running towards another universe, the lover? And then you have to find out what the environment of the universe allows this universe to move into. Or, as I said before, we have to change our words in our vocabulary. Where our universe is a cell in the structure of the unicos, and we call the one who created unicos the creator, not the one which created our world, our universe. The extension of the knowledge, the understanding of the furthermore, as we thought the earth is the center of universe, now we have to accept with the logical understanding of the understanding our universe is dynamic, is moving with such a speed, so that a speed creates new magnetic fields, as is the energy, stars and galaxies putting pressure on the new waves, new magnetic field strength are created. But this totality, if it's in such a vast motion, is not sitting steady, because if it was, we would have had a huge lights coming from outside in, because it has creates friction with this environment. So it's moving in the plasma fields, but where is it moving to? Or is our universe is a cell in the structure of the creator, which that creator is what we call the God, not the one which created this universe. Warsztat, in the writing of him, we see this word. The man has missed it. When you read the writing of Warsztat, he refers to this. But man was too busy, too greedy with his own matter state. No other prophet, no other holy book you find this word, because to them they were too busy robbing man with the essence of something else. We just run a copy. As I said before, it, when you look at the religions, is literally like the Chinese copy machine. They see it, they just copy it without the essence, because if it looks good in the West, we just copy it, and that's what the religions become, copy of each other. But if you have the original, which they copied, and they took part out because it didn't fit, is in the writing of Zoroaster. That he touches on the bird of creation to be the creator. And this is what we have now. We're understanding what we now, our knowledge is extended. Our universe is not the center of the creation. as our Earth was in the center of this universe. And then we understand there's a bigger structure, which is the greater God, greater creator, because we accept that we have a God which created this universe, this life. But within itself has a creator which has created the totality of the unicos. And then we have to understand the structure of work of that unicos, which goes back into what I explained a few minutes ago. Because I always said, if this universe is existing, moving and expanding, it has to expand within the structure. Others have to allow it to expand. Are we expanding so big that becoming the cancer cell in the creation, in the structure of the creator, the God? Or is this expansion and motion of the plasma of our universe is in the direction of, is it the lover running towards to? Or are we in the bloodstream of the creator as a cell, as unicos, the way we have cells of so many bits in our blood rotating to create the pulses of the creation? Are we part of that structure? One day I answered that. But now you understand how bigger the structure is. And in a way, in a very hidden way, I put it on the back page of book number 3. Where that in the center, with all the universes around, brings to be the essence of the creation. And then, when I tell you we are the universal teachers, we are here to teach the universes, not the universe of man alone. Any other question?
Okay, thank you for that. Other questions? See, when will the let me get it up on the screen here first. Whoops, what happened there? The One Nation Network, there's a question, when will that be shipping?
We are hopefully in the next 2-3 weeks dispatched the second batches. There are 10 at the moment, I think, which has been going into with the developers testing. 25 will go out in next maybe 2-3 weeks maximum, because the part of the software, everything is set up now. They are finding the limitations and how connections is. So 25 of you will receive, and as I said to the developers in the past few hours, we try to get to every continent a number of these to see what the pitfalls are, any correction, what we need to do, because our developers are finding some problems with some countries, with some networks. So the ones which have been in work at the moment are in the hand of the developers, which is I think about 437 and 310 here. 25 will go out. And those of you who receive 25, please keep it confidential. Don't let anyone know that you received it. We ask you, and we'll add the paper to it. You are in a way the first phase of the testing. We'll run this for about maybe 3-4 weeks to see each one we can control remote and everything else. And then the second batch of 100 to 200 will leave, because we have to be 100% correct. We found a problem with one country in reaching the systems, and it's our team is trying to sort out this problem. And for example, we have a position, if any of you has a connection to the internet system and Starlink of a mosque, we were told there could be a person in one of the Eastern Bloc countries. If any of you has the Starlink with the mosque and landline with a, what do you call it, plug-in system, and a separate Wi-Fi, it has to be different IPs. Get in touch with us. We need more detail. We just don't give it to you because you say you have. We would like to test this with the Starlink, with the system of mosque, how it works and how it can interfere, how we can breach the what we call the firewalls and the rest of these things. So if you have such a facility that you have both access to the what we call the normal system connection and one with has to be different one in the same household, we are interested to bring you into participation of testing. But it has to say company. No one should know you received this. And even those thousands of you which received these units should never divulge it to no one. Because it's part of, in a way, you're part of a network. And just keep it that way, that we can strengthen and secure this. Don't forget, large number of the shares in this structure will go to government and individuals around the world. And we have to keep it safe at the same time. And so it will be the only coin which, if it gets stolen, we replace it. So in a bigger shape, if any, even if our servers are taken down, we have a backup that bring it up to support it, and then backup to the backup and the rest of it. So it becomes impossibilities to lose and to hack and to steal, because first of all, when you steal, we can block it. Secondly, you never lose money. Nobody can. This habit of stealing and destroying will go out of this situation. We automatically replace any stolen coin. So it's not worth stealing, because the one who stole it automatically through the control system will be blocked out. It's no use robbing us like what the Americans did with one of the, what do you call it, cryptocurrency coins very recently, where they confiscated 127,000 coins worth 15 billion at the moment for criminal activities. And then from the company they stole it for, 5 years later they accused them of something, and the punishment was equal to 127,000 coins which they stole. The biggest theft in the cryptocurrency is done by the American government, and then has issued the license or judgment to hold it. How do you know when it was stolen? How do you pass it to hold it? So you actually, the thieves were the American government. And we stop these things. No country can steal. It's not worth stealing, it's just worth living through the structure of the cash coins. It's so you will receive 25 of them once the factory hands over to us and reloads with our programs will come to you. Australia, South America, South Africa, couple of African countries, India, Iran, some European countries, Canada, United States, and some of you who live in remote islands, knowledge seekers, we would like to hear from you that we can spread. No matter Hawaii, if you are part of the islands in Pacific Ocean, you would like to know, but you have to have a continuous access to internet. This is the condition. Don't take it up that you always have a fear of if I can pay my internet cost. These are long-term commitments to the whole humanity. It's not just you need just to be there. And it has to work, it has to be there, it has to be active. Because if our system sees it in activity, your 2 coins 0.4 stops. So in a way, you're responsible to see it operational. Put it in your will, pass it on to your children, and put it that it has been, not when they enter your house when you passed away to throw the system away with it. They have to understand there's a value to it. And it's for the humanity.
Mr. Kesh, there is a question. A Hispanic knowledge seeker asked if the annual interest in the One Nation Network system is that applicable to those that buy the Kesh coin, or only those who buy the Kesh coin with the One Nation Network system?
It only applies to One Nation Network.
Right.
It only applies to One Nation Network because in a way we pay you for holding, servicing, or whatever. And there's a lifetime to these, and it needs to be replaced or whatever, maybe in 5 or 10 years time. But we back it up, and technology is moving so fast that most probably in 5 years time there'll be a new development in the structure of these systems. The prices from the manufacturing has increased. We might increase these units in the next few days. As you know, due to the shortage of chips, the prices has jumped drastically around the world. And most probably within the next few days we increase the price to $2,500 to cover the massive increase we received in a double digits from the suppliers of the system. We'll increase their price to $2,500 most probably in the next few hours, few days, as to what do you call it, to the shortage of chips, and the games played by tariff game has affected us in receiving the units, and the cost of the units has gone up drastically in hundreds and hundreds since we placed the order. Any other question?
Thank you. On a different note, Ike has a question here. Says, "Good morning, Mr. Kesh. Excuse me. I understand there's presence of emotion in the soul of physicality, and physicality. How could I identify the specific emotions of the soul of man, the emotions of soul of physicality, and emotions of physicality in this physical activity of, quote, getting up to grab a cup of water from a refrigerator?"
What?
He's in this act of getting up to grab a cup of water from a refrigerator as an example of a physical activity. How could Ike identify the specific emotions of the soul of man, the emotions of the soul of physicality, and the emotions of physicality in that activity?
You have to understand where it comes from and separate physical emotions to understanding the cause of that emotion and how you create it. It's in a way the emotion which comes from the soul is a permanent feature of the life. The emotion which comes from the physicality is interchangeable. You're aware of it, and in a way you control it. It's like when, as I explained this before, you sit at a table, you're in a meeting with a few others, and a person in the people you're with smiles and laughs and enjoys the companion of one, and at the same time when it turns to the other, become insults, anger, and everything else. So they're in control of the emotion, and they use the emotion to create certain other emotions in the others. It's very much like, quote unquote, you sit with a mother with 2 children on the same table. One is not hers, is brought in by the husband, and one is hers with the same man. Or maybe one is the same from another man coming through to marriage. And watch the behavior of the woman, especially women. How lovingly they speak to the child of their own, and how they behave to others. Doesn't matter how kind they try to be. I've observed this position many times. And then you understand about the emotion of physicality, emotion of the man, and then the emotion of the soul. In a way, once I explained the emotion of the soul is like the sign of zodiac. In a given structure, position, time, the soul has been created. And that soul in that gravity creates such a physical manifestation of the character. We say Leos are like this, and Sagittarius are like this, or Aries are like this. It's like we create a system, we change their inertia. It's the same system with that inertia gives us gold, in another inertia gives us silver, and in another one gives us water. In essence, it's the same field. And so, in a way, when you hear about the zodiac signs and understand the position, how, in what position in respect to the field of the center is, because the other planetary system have very little effect or whatever on the characteristics or the soul which is created in that position, magnetic field, because the emotion of the what we call zodiac sign, the ones who actually started this, understood the work of the universe, is like exactly what Rick was saying. Scientists now understand that we're missing the magnetic field. Your soul is created in a given specific magnetic field strength. But don't forget, the one who was born in this position of the earth, in that position of solar system, yes, but our sun has moved into a new position in the galaxy. So you have part of plus the environmental on. So this is what Virgos behave like, because the great soul is the soul interaction. And then the way you behave towards your child and another man's child on the same table is emotion of the physicality. And this is how things are. It's like, I always laugh, but there is some truth in it. I do apologize for our knowledge seekers. I'm not trying to cut it out or pinpoint it, but they say red hairs have this specific behavior. Blondes have a specific behavior. And what we call in English now has become very local, blonde Essex girls have a specific behavior. Because it creates that dimension of the field, the strength, which creates a physical behavior. So you have to understand which way goes with what. And I've been witness to this behavior, and I had to look into it. I had to understand it and look into it, and then put in the position. How the mother sits, behave different with the same two children she's supposed to love, and behaves different towards one which is hers and one is not hers, and pretend to be just and everything. I saw that in my ex-marriage. A wolf in the skin of sheep. And I had to understand it. And then you understand how things are, how things are set. I always said, we appear in the body of the man to understand the true structure of the man, otherwise we cannot find a solution for that. And these are the tests we try to understand and then find, and we set our solutions for it. Any other question?
I think I understand what you mean about about the red hair. It was after I got married that I discovered my wife had streaks of red hair.
God help you. You must have had an exciting
which I've been trying to avoid all my life.
No, because is, as I say, why do we have different color of hair? Does it come from the energy of the soul manifesting itself in a different dimension? Our hair is our antennas to the universe. What feels do we receive with the hair, blonde or yellow, whatever? It's interesting. When you look in the eye of a person, the color, the position, the emotion will give everything to the soul. And the hair is another one. Our hair is our antennas to the universal energies. Why do we have a red hair? Why don't we have hair in some part of the body? Just think of it. And why do we have hair in some places, and why some people have more hair than the others, and all sorts? Why? These are not question asking, these are through research. I've tried to find out, looking from the energy point and the soul point for years, and it's very nice when you analyze it. Like why we, body-wise, we have different shapes and different structures and how we react. And how we do. Years ago, a couple of decades ago, I sat in front of a woman who came to say, and I said to her, "Can I ask you a question?" She said, yes. I said, "Is this what happened to you?" And she collapsed. She said, "Yes." "How do you know?" I said, "I don't need to know. You walked with it." And this lady went through tons of operations. Just one question, first question, and nothing else. Because the voice, the position of the eye, the touch, the emotion of the voice, if you are aware and you want to be aware of, gives you every information. You don't need to be anything else. You understand the energy of the soul, you understand the energy of the physicality. You know the disease. You know the position. And man needs to learn. Any other question?
Well, we have a couple of hands up here now. So, Antonio, would you like to go first? And then we have Claudia.
Good morning, Mr. Cash. Good morning, Rick.
Hey, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Busy with fruit
Harvest.
picking. Yeah. Yeah. I was reading an article, Mr. Cash. It's called "The Age of Light," and there's one paragraph that reminds me of your work. If it's okay to read that out to you.
Carry on.
It says here, "The coming time will be known as the Age of Light, and light in all its meanings and manifestations will become the provenance of man. Already the signs are there for the discerning that man is knocking on the door that leads to the chamber of light. Ancient darkness and ignorance are being banished as men grapple with the implications of new insights and technology. Soon the science of light, the divine science, will be revealed to man's astonishing gaze, and a major landmark of man's journey of evolution will have been reached." That's reminds me of what you're doing, Mr. Cash.
I understand this is the process that the light you have to understand what the light is, and you have to understand that light is created um, from the interaction of the fields, and so how is that light created is important to us. And if you understand this, then it comes to understand how the creation of the light, what effects it creates. And it's like the sun is always there. How the magnetic field of the earth creates different strength of it as it rotates during the daytime. It manifests the same light in different strength. So for us, we just call it a light, but the strength of the light, the emotion of the light can lead us to the creator of, or a condition of creation of that light. And this is something we have not understood. If we go on the principle that the light has a fixed speed, then it comes, what changes is enlightenment, the strength of it. And the only thing can be the strength of the magnetic field in interaction with the strength of the magnetic field of the environment. And when we understand this, it's impossible to ignore the possibilities of the work. Just 1 second, please. I have to do something to do with the foundation. Just 1 second, please. What creates the light is one point. What we observe is the effect of interaction. We can't see a light if there is not a field, two magnetic fields coming into interaction with each other. It's like the adapters you have. You change the adapter position and you get green, blue, stronger light, weaker light, and the rest. And we have to understand if the essence is the same, I'm trying to find a very precise explanation that you understood. What we see as information of the light, we have to find the origin and the interaction field strength that creates that light. The field strength of our soul is constant. In what emotion it creates is the physical strength of the emotion of the physicality, which creates a different reaction. So the sun never changes. Is the interaction of the fields of the man, which in emotion of its physicality, which changes that light. Anger emotion or love emotion, it's the same blood, same physicality. And this is the problem. This is part of the equation which we have never considered.
Yeah, that article refers to the divine science. And
This is the divine science. This is the divine science. Any light is emanated from divinity. Any light. Once you call it light, observe it. Where is its origin? Just doesn't come from it. It comes from the magnetic field somewhere. With that magnetic field somewhere else originated from it. Every light is divine. Depends how you do. Just because you create it in the light bulb, it still is the same. It has an origin. It's look at our children. I observe this with my children quite a lot. They are not afraid of dark. They are afraid of unknown. What is in that dark? The light in the room is exactly the same light. When it's not there and when it's there, and how their emotion or how the interaction of the light with their emotion creates the what you call manifestation of physicality. If you train your children not to be afraid of dark, void of light, and see dark the same as daylight, they behave totally different, no fear. But if you frighten your children of the darkness, which is the lack of field strength that they can see, you create a timid person.
Yeah.
And this is the same enlightenment of the life. I've always been very much aware of this with my children. Always encourage them, don't be afraid of dark. It's just that because it's not the light there. Don't forget, living with a father, being a physicist, you always get these problems, like when you're a dentist, how you bring your children without their teeth. But in fact is not being afraid of unknown. I know a couple of cases where the children punish their child, when the parents punish their child and put them in the basement or in a room dark, and outcome has been psychologically damaged, mentally demented children.
Yeah.
So it depends what we do. I take always my children into dark positions. Let's see what we see. Open your eyes, just touch. We are in the darkness, and we use the darkness to create another darkness in our children. Then this is the problem. The light is always there. It's the field of it.
The light of the soul.
Yeah, it's amazing how we approach these things, and we transfer our own fears into our children due to all these kind of emotions.
Yeah, I
We
remember
see,
when I was young.
yeah, carry
I
on.
remember when I was young, Mr. Kerry, a friend of mine said, you know, the sun was setting. He said, the monster comes out when that's red sky. And I'm running home thinking, I better get home. But that's the, I was never afraid of the dark until he told me that this babunya, this monster comes out when it's
Yeah,
dark. And so your imagination runs wild.
you can do what you like with it. It's just that what we value as a dark, what we assess as a dark, and how we value these things in the darkness.
Yeah. You were talking about the zodiac before.
Yeah.
I was thinking that with the planet, its axis and the way it wobbles, and every 2,500 odd years it faces into one constellation and then into another. That would have different qualities of energy. And, you know, like we're coming into the age of Aquarius, there's a different energy to Pisces, you know, and that affects. I assume it affects everyone and the way they look at things. And I think the Aquarian energy seems to be an energy of synthesis. It's sort of, you know, people coming together and working together rather as individuals. Pisces was more of an energy of individuality, which we seem to have done a good job of that. But Aquarius is seems to be an energy of coming together, you know, working together as a group.
Yeah, it's in so many ways is a repetition of life in respect to how we interact with that position in the field. It's it's how we perceive and how we interact with that perception.
Mm-hmm.
And how we I'm trying to bring it in a way that we understand. We are made out of our own structure, and we inherit part of it from our past or our environment or our parents and whatever.
Yeah.
How we use it and how effectively we use it is according to what we want to have an outcome of. And Uh, the best thing which teaches these things about our emotion and the abuse of emotion or use of the emotion to create certain condition is our children and our lovers and our partners and our parents. And with the children, especially in the young age, we need to understand the emotion which is created in them.
Mhm.
And it's this is very touchy subject in how we transfer our emotion to our children and how we transfer our emotion into an untouched soul, and we see what we make it. And a lot of mothers do abuse this, and a lot of they bring their fears, their position towards the children, and the children life reacts into that position. We see that with a lot of lovers abusing their love by the others. This could be the love of an animal, a painting, or whatever, or a person. We use it as a gambling bargain, as a chip. We use it as a point of fear, creating dimension of fear, and how we react to it, and how the society reacts to what we react, what we put in. There's a huge research in single parenting and the emotion of the mothers on the children and emotion of the fathers on the children in separate marriages when it's divided. And studies show heavily that the children brought up by the fathers, even though they're the breadwinners, even though they might support the social welfare, are creates a more stable, solid children than those where the children are given to the mothers, heavily loaded towards the fathers. The fathers bring a more stable children, very more balanced, and because the father is a breadwinner from the beginning, the family gets around the child. The mothers, the grandparents, they get involved. A child has a fixed, stable condition, where the mothers most probably not the breadwinner. They have to go to work, or they rely on another man to become the breadwinner. So they have to change and shift their emotion effect or hide their emotion towards the child, that the other man doesn't get upset, or the other children and the rest of it. And I used to read a lot of these research papers because it shows how we have to deal with the soul of the man and the emotion of the fallout in the space, the loneliness and everything else. And you see a lot of children brought up by, even in a family where there are more girls and one boy, we see the tendency of the boy towards becoming the very high percentage female behavior. Unless some research shows that the father takes the umbrella control of the son because he's the only son and the rest of it. And we see it again with the families with a lot of boys and one girl. And how parenthood affects the emotion and the rising of the child in childhood. Same with the light and everything else. Mothers with a fear bring out fearful children. And parents with, what do you call it, outspoken, strong in character, create a number of offspring. That way, maybe those who do not, you'll see different. And you see it in the household. You walk down the street and watch children with the parents. The shape, the position. Watch if the boy is chubbier and fat compared to the girl, and then find the relation between the father and the son. And then you find out there's a problem. The mother and the daughter, you find out there's a problem. Hierarchy of the position between the two children in respect to the mother or the father creates position. If you remember, maybe I explained before, when I submitted the papers with the scientists, with the Belgians, I brought in suitcases, piles of research papers for confirmation of every part of technology when we started negotiating with Belgium in 2005. Because I used to read a lot. And when you submit a paper, if you're a scientist, or you publish the paper, your paper, what you write, you have to put a lot of research papers, what submits to where, what relates to what. You write 5 pages, 10 pages of report, and you have 20 references. And this is how I used to read heavily, that everything we do is correct, be it in the plasma technology, be it in the medical application, be it in every aspect. And funny thing happened to me in my last session of divorce in the court. Very, very funny thing. The ignorant, illiterate woman turned to the judge and says, his papers are not his. He's just got, you can read his papers. At the end, the list of other papers is copied. And the judge said, Madam, this is how scientific papers done. It shows you're ignorant. You're illiterate. Scientific paper without references is not valid, so it's correct. And when I say, yeah, we have an ignorant, illiterate partner, this is where it brings you. And it was in court, and the judges start laughing, and the lawyers. And this is what and how, when we release a paper or I discuss something, there's a lot of research gone into it. And you have to read the negative part of the research first before you read the good side of it. Then you find a sense of balance. And the emotion of the mothers creates certain fears, certain lights, certain information in the child. And that light structures the future of the child. And being a parent is not just feeding the child. You have to educate yourself that you feed the right information and love to it. And the next generation have to be aware of this, because now the social media is much more powerful than parents.
Yeah. You have to give the child a bit more freedom to discover for themselves. And we tend to try and overshadow them and steer them in our direction.
Steer them in the balanced direction and our direction, otherwise we become the same. It's finding the balance nowadays is very difficult, even in the world of science. And you have to create a point of vacuum where you put your input and they take what they want from it according to what their need is. I think the most joyful life for a man is when you hold your child. Does not matter what age. And you receive the love than actually the talk. When you hold your parents and you hold your lover, it's different than when you hold your child. Because the love is so much pure in essence when you hold them than when you talk to them.
Yeah.
And what you receive is what you put in at childhood. And it shows the fruit of what you created.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We have another hand up with Claudia here, if we can address that now.
Hello, Rick. Hello, Mr. Cash.
Hello.
I was discussing yesterday with other knowledge seekers about once you said that you want to change the DNA, you have to change the DNA to the man become a peaceful man. And I was not understanding about the gap between the fields, two plasmas, because we can play with the gravitational and magnetic fields and change the position of our soul of physicality and then even the soul of the man, because you explained that we have two-way streets. So if we can't control the emotion of the soul, I can work with the physicality to achieve this position, the position of the soul. But if I change the position of my soul, the gap between my DNA will change, or is a different kind of thing that I have to work?
It's the field strength is more effective than actually the physical condition. It's easier to work on the strength of the field than trying to work on gravitational, trying to take and give. When you give and take, you dictate and taint it with your emotions, what you desire. When you work on the field strength of the person or whatever position, finds the balance and respect to. And it's totally different way and different approach to understanding. And we have to be aware of it. You don't need to work when it's gravitational. You say what you can take from it to change it, or if it's magnetical, is you dictate what I want to give. If you make it available and change the strength, it does not matter if it becomes gravitational or magnetical. And that's the key. This is what we call unconditional love. I give the love. It's for you to take it or to reject it. How much you take from it, what you put back into it. My love is unconditional. When I say I love you, it means what I have is yours. Take what you need. I don't put any conditions on it. And when I give for you to receive, it has to be of the higher order love, that the stronger always gives to the weaker, or as higher strength give to the lower strength to bring it balance. It's the condition of creation, yin and yang. When one side is heavier, it's the other one. When you make it no condition, always there. I seldom write to anyone, I love you. Because that love is the essence of everything I have is available. It's for you to decide what you want to take from it. not for me to put condition on it. And the love is not tainted with the physical, it's tainted with the world of creation. And what is there is for you to take what you need from it. So when you speak about these things, understand that don't put it, your interpretation is gravitational magnetical. My interpretation is unconditional. And it's the best I can give. It's for you to condition it. And it's for you to take it, make it gravitational. It's for you to decide to make it magnetical, to give back. To give back, you have to have much higher field strength than me that I needed to receive it. Because
But
under condition. I explained that with some experience here. I explained this to a knowledge seeker years ago. I said, the more you love, the more you suffer in what you want to hold on to the love and to share unconditionally. When you think of marrying a person, do, or hopefully your next generation teach your children, do one thing, teach them the ways of the universe. And it's more promoted in the West the wrong way, in a way. Ask your lover twice, would you marry me? Not just once. And then put it to your lover. You know my intention. I asked you twice. Now you ask me if you want to marry me. And my answer. Relationships built on this will be a strength. It's because both sides had to think, not one side. When you ask a person, when you write a contract with someone, always ask them, you write the contract the way you like. And then I read it. And I see what it fits me, and I put my impression. Because then you know what you're dealing with, who you're dealing with, what's the greed of the man, what is the correctness of the man. If you've been, of any knowledge seekers being with me in doing contracts, I hardly ever do contracts. I always ask the other party to write it, because I want to know who I'm dealing with. What is the greed? Can I handle? Because the first draft shows who you got on your hand. And then if you can handle it, you accept it, or you change it, you negotiate it to way it suits you, but it's fair and correct for both sides. Because you know you stay correct. They have the greed. It's the same with the marriage. If you think of asking somebody to marry you, give them the option. Ask them once. If they say yes, ask them for a second time, few weeks, few months, few days later. But since you ask, what I wanted to, that if you thought about it, that time was yes because of the excitement. You have thought about it. Would you marry me? And if the answer is yes, says now you think about it and ask me if I want to marry you. Because then you have to think in a different way than you were there a hunter. Now you become hunted. If you're a woman or a man, try this. You find the answer sits in how much love I can give, not what is in my benefit. You want to go into partnership, ask you, this is the draft you wrote. That's my reason. When you receive my correction, the way mine is request, you write yours according to mine and see where it is. and you find out, because you allow the other side to think it's not hasn't been, you haven't swept them off their leg or their feet, they had time to think. The honeymoon is already past in the first time you asked. The reality hits with second time, and the consideration of the life comes when they have to ask. Nowadays, we kneel on one leg and we say, would you marry me? Yes, she said, and we run. Down the line, it comes with the divorce because you wanted. They had other leopards in their head or other things which you don't fulfill, trapped in the relationship.
Thank you. I was only wonder if the gaps with all the beings and they are different. So I am human. I have difference. This space between the gaps of my amino acids. So this, if change, I'll be another being. But so when you say become a peaceful man, it's not change this kind of space. It's the position of the soul and the behavior.
It
That's
it's in the different spaces of gaps in the amino acid, what we call the DNA, creates different physical, but in a way, as I said, the fields of the environment changes the matter state. So if you change what we call the RNA, which is the field sources of the no matter state, you can change the DNA. In a way, you have a bunch of people gathered in one room, you just now slightly extend the size of the room, you find out they're less squashed. And that's what happens. So that space given is created, is given by the soul, is given by the fields of the environment which you create. This is how in the future genetic defects will be corrected. Or genetic modification comes to fit into the environment of the manifestation. This is what even in recent past I always say, with this knowledge, with the soul, creation of the children of the soul, there'll be no imperfect physical imperfection in the physical life of our children. Because when you give, you extend that room, there is no, everything fits perfect in, nothing's cramped on. It's like getting in a bus with 10 people or getting in a bus with 100 people. You don't dictate the position where you sit, they push you because they need the space, unless you're sitting on the chair and your position is fixed. And even then you find when it's too cramped, the belly of the guy or the butt of the guy or another thing is on your face because they're standing in front of you. And it's exactly the same.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cash. Have a good day.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, how are you doing, Mr. Kesh? Are you up for more questions?
There's something which has come up. As I said, we had to do something during the presentation today. And as we are placing orders and things are getting done for what we call these communication units. The manufacturers have just informed us a hike in the price by nearly 50% due to silicon change. And we have to absorb it, otherwise there'll be, there'll be a problem. We ask those of you who donated or bought this unit reconsider to make a donation or increase in the price, that we can what do you call it, carry on with our work. The 50% jump is so high, but either way, if you have made a donation or made a purchase for supporting the increase, we received the 50%. That's why I had to talk with the manufacturers online due to the silicon costs by the tariffs and the cuts in America and the other bids has forced them upon us by the manufacturers. We try to absorb it, but if you can reconsider and increase your does a gift, just put the addition to the purchase, because when you make a donation it becomes a problem taxation for us, as the increase in inflation will be appreciated to cover this cost. Thanks to Mr. Trump. Any other question?
Cash, Antonio again. If I got one cash coin, if I donate that to you, would that help?
The cash coins are structured in the process of the Cash Foundation. It's all there. Yes, it can do. Or is the other is. Those of you who have market shares, please make sure you're secure with it. And please make sure you stay, because there's going to be an evolution in the market shares by market or by shares of the Cash Foundation. And make sure that you are fully everything in hand. That, as I explained earlier, and we have a target as part of the joint collaboration and part of the same structure of our shareholding. I am shareholders of the Cash Foundation and answerable to all the structure of the Cash Foundation in what and how we invest. And we have to protect the investments of the Cash Foundation as a shareholder in Markray. And when I speak to you as knowledge seekers, you are shareholders with us. You made it to happen. And it's not to affect the price of the shares in Markray, but in a way, as a CEO of the Cash Foundation, I report to you as knowledge seekers who build and support us to build this structure, to please protect your shares, make sure everything is correct, as the valuation will affect the true structure of the Cash Foundation very soon. We rule by knowledge and not by speculation. Any other question? In a way, as you said, if we can take one coin, we have many knowledge seekers buy coins and in the process exchange it for different services and products of the Cash Foundation. We facilitate for that in our process. So you just don't buy a coin, or you don't buy that it goes up and down, is as it is with cryptocurrencies. One day is zero and one day is hero. We keep it as 1,000 and we exchange it internally as is internal coin, and not into cryptocurrency levels are playing. And it's the only coin which pays by itself interest to itself. And it's important to keep this. And as I explained before, in the very near future, we give a coin for the number of, in a way, structured coin per birth. When you in the West, you give a birth to a child, the government gives you so much for expenses. Cash Foundation will give the coins for living. And at the beginning, there'll be some abuses, but after a while, it'll settle, because it's the future of the child. Is the child born to live, not born to fight to live? And to do that, we have to create a continuous process that is connected with all the nations, which goes into the Barclay structure, which connects to the coins, because once you become a market shareholder, according to the signed agreements, you have access to our intellectual rights and everything else which goes with it, and become a member of the Keshe Foundation, which you apply, or the structure of the valuation of the coin is connected to it. So automatically shares are connected to coins, and the coins are connected to the materials, and one planet, one race, one nation, one currency, and one piece is the structure of the market corporation under the what they call the leadership of the Keshe Foundation as a majority shareholder. And we keep this, and will increase what we call our influence in this. You'll see it in the next coming time, because the process has already started. And we are not there to influence the price or the position of the market. We, in these teachings, we report to our true shareholders, which is your knowledge seekers, what is our position. We can't call a private meeting, all the knowledge seekers come. This is our private meeting, this is Keshe Foundation meeting. And we inform you of what is our position, will be our position in this respect. And not to influence, because when you hold the shares of a company, a public company, in a structure, in a family, or in another company, by share of a company, the board of directors and the shareholders of the company have a say in what to do with the shares they bought. And they're in that position with you lot. We tell you what we're going to do and what we see. And our target is not to manipulate, our target is to bring a correct system. My plan has been from the outset to change the market corporation into IMF of the world, which means all the nations are partners in it on equal basis. Any support, financial support for any project, is done by the foundation through market corporation for the benefit of humanity, and on the equal basis. And with it, we make the payment in currency of the that we call Keshe Foundation as part of the corporation of the signed agreement with market corporation. It's all rights and intellectual rights which market has accepted in exchange for the shares we took as the shareholders of the Keshe Foundation into market. So we dictate, and we have a say how we give the shares, and we have it because we decide as a board of directors what we do. And as I said, Keshe Foundation will allocate large shares, equal shares to all the nations as part of the market corporation. We have already negotiated with two governments, and gradually, in a way, if we give 1 million shares to a nation, for the government, or not the government, to a nation as a whole, is different when we give coins to the children of the nation. One controls the balance, and one controls the spending in within the structure. It's well planned. We are already in it, and the process cannot be stopped. We are internal currency. We don't go into the cryptocurrency. And when all the nations work within that currency, it automatically becomes international coin. And for balance of payments between nations, guarantees for nations to provide services with cash coins and the guarantees of Barclay, it'll become a feature. I explained this morning to, what do you call it, earlier on to people who were in the meeting with. You don't need to go to the World Bank. You don't need to rely on the dollars and euros. When the cash coin, when the market corporation signs an agreement to support, is paid by all of us towards it. At the moment in the country, you have a socialist structure. Now we bring the social structure for every living man on this planet. It takes time. It's not a dream, because it's already started. It's a dream when you talk about it. It becomes reality when you're in it, and then you see the effect of it. My mom used to say to me years ago, you always talk, but the problem with you is that when you talk, you bring it and it's done before people know, because you talked about it, they understand what you meant before. When I was 10, 11, 12, everybody asked me, what do you want to say? I want to become a nuclear physicist. Oh, now it's fashionable. And when I became a nuclear physicist, my mom said, what you said 10 years ago, you're done. So you knew what you're doing. And you always do this. You talk about in advance what you said to do it, to achieve it. And it's the way done with market, and it'll be done with what we call the work. We'll make cash coin an international balance structure. You have your local monies and dollars and euros and rubles. When you need to run to work, it'll be that way. And it's taken time. You've seen the units which are coming in. You've seen the coins which are what you buy. You've seen the what you call the balls. You've seen the structure of the market. These are not coincidental. Everything is planned. It just needs time, step by step. Step by step. And we are 40%, 30% there. The rest of it will come on its own. You accept the shares of market corporations and nation, you sign yourself to peace. And you abide by the technology of the Keshe Foundation to create a peaceful nation. Simple as that. If we give 10 million shares to one nation, and €1,000 is 1 billion, and it's more income than 40% of the nations around the world. Plus the coins given to your citizens, it's a huge amount. It will change a lot of governments. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. We had a question in our Q&A from UC Host 1. I'm not sure who that is, whether it's might be Marinez or Filippo. It says, we are producing translations and videos of your workshops in several languages. These are available if needed as part of the materials to support and or preserve the knowledge you provide, which will become part of the One Nation network system in various languages. So where should it be sent?
Hold on to it, carry on doing it till we set up the system, till the units are spread, and then the what we call webmasters or IT sections will start doing loading up. Don't carry on doing it. There's a lot of literature. Thank you very much for what you're doing. There are people who are working on AI. A group was set up, and I don't know what happened to them, because we just leave it to them to do it. And so there are people who are doing different languages. We support in every way possible, but well, hopefully next 2, 3, 4 years, we'll set up a structure for this in a full way. One of the things, this was set up to become, if you remember, the company still exists. We're keeping it that way. Like Cash TV was set up as part of this. Till we hit a massive fraud. Now that the fraud case is back in court in December, and hopefully we can recuperate, everything goes back on the track, what it is and what's that. And I'm sure sometime in December we report back to you, especially those of you supported us, how the courts in Austria will decide on the future of these two guys, or people who've been arrested and are in custody, and how much of the funds can be recuperated. And we have situation we sit with a bank which were part of the structure of the fraud. The funny thing is, 2 major banks in Europe work this way to defraud their clients, and they're part of it because they hold accounts for different whole frauds. And this case in court in December is the beginning of a massive opening of the fraud by the banks. And we'll see. Whatever comes to us, what we need, we take. All goes into the Keshe Foundation. Has to go, because at the end of it is what we set out to do. We didn't make palaces and what do you call it, temples. We made research centers and factories to help and so forth. And he has to go back on the same way, but in a more wiser way. Any other question?
One thing that I would mention that when I heard about Aquarius, this age of Aquarius, it reminded me of the song, the age of Aquarius, or Aquarius. And I looked it up.
That gives your age away, huh?
Yes, well, it came out actually in 1967, nearly 60 years ago. And 1969 is when it was released as a single, and it hit the top of the hit parade in that year. It was one of it's number 33 in the 100 best songs of all time, basically. And yeah, it was number one for quite some time in the Billboard and whatnot. And probably everyone recognizes it if you were to hear it. And some of the lyrics are quite amazing, actually, as well. It's about when the moon is in the seventh house. That's the first sentence. And Jupiter aligns with Mars. Then peace will guide the planets, and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, etc. Yes. And it's about harmony and understanding and sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions, golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelation, and the mind's true liberation. So there we go. And also let the sun shine in. So we're talking about open your heart, let the sun shine in, and so on. So yeah, interesting. But the age of Aquarius, it's actually, it takes time for the transition from the age of Pisces before to this age of Aquarius. And some say it started at the 20th century, and others say it's starting now. And so it's somewhere in between, but definitely 60 years ago, they were singing about it.
Now we dance to it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, partially. Anyway, thank you very much. Shall we bring some more than 3 hours? We are going.
Yes, there's a couple of longer questions from Paulo. I suggest maybe if you carry them over till next week, Paulo, we can address them, because each of the questions have 3 or 4 parts to them, so they're kind of complex.
Thank you very much for being with us. I hope I try to explain more about the process beyond the soul of the man, which is what is the fields of the creation of the man. And that is where we are heading for. And with it, gradually, we will hopefully, in a time to come, we understand the process of creation. About ourselves, actually, how we were created, what's the purpose of life. And how we are that drop, and 8 billion of us has a limited cycle that becomes that drop raining back in the ocean, and there are other 8-10 billion of man will be born to become further, bringing clouds together to become that drop to keep that ocean going, which is the ocean of the love of the Creator. And once we understand this, then you understand why it's said suicide is forbidden, because you have to return as a perfect rain drop, not half or not complete. Thank you very much for being with us, and I hope we all learn a little bit, and I'm sure you will enjoy, those of you who might try the what we call Christmas packages, and for those of you who purchase these units, please reconsider, as we have received a massive increase by the manufacturers. We have to keep to our commitment. It'll help us to come. Don't donate to us, just add additional payments towards the unit purchased that you can cover us. We received a 50% hike by the manufacturers. And it's all
Mr.
Trump.
Mr. Kesh, Jalal has raised his hand here at the end, and maybe we can hear his final comment or whatever.
Well, is he still around? I thought he's an old man. We haven't heard from him for a long, long time. Before you let him in, ask him how many questions.
No,
How many questions do I?
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Kash.
Hi, Jalal. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Mr. Kash, it's not a question really. About this muscles ganses you speak about. Is it available or when it's going to be?
What do you mean, muscle ganses?
You know, when you speak about the small muscles, it was about 2 sessions away ago or 3.
The material has been released on Sunday. You have to write to sales and they tell you if you're looking for it. The material was released last Sunday for a specific purpose. Yes, but that is for internal use for us internally, but it's part of the material which is commercially, what you call it, it's got a license on it. So it's certified with it as a, what do you call it, as part of the material Keshe Foundation supplies to the pharmacist. If you ask for it, this is done especially for a special purpose, yes. I know what you're asking for. Send me a message in private, I'll answer you directly what you need to do. I know what you're asking for.
Okay, Mr. Kash. Thank you very much. So it's not a question. You get rid of me now.
No, I don't. I never get it. I love the way you are. I know what it is. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your support and help.
Pleasure, Mr. Kash. Thank you.
We try to be there. As I said, knowledge seekers, we used to be very public. We used to a lot of people coming forward to do what they do for security and our own security and everything else. We have changed the pattern and we see it more appropriate, more successful than our work. We used to tell people what we are about to do and they used to do every effort to block us. And now we carry on with our work. What you see in front as Keshe Foundation maybe is less than 5% of what we do in the background. And those of you who work with us closely for a specific projects, please keep it to yourself because that's the safety of the foundation. Don't make public what you do with us and don't put it out that the foundation is up to this and that. Our openness was the cause of our problem. Even though we stay as much as possible open, but we have to understand our responsibilities to humanity, not to a few regress war around to prove they exist through us. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Great workshop. Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Sorry, just one thing. There's a question. If we are carrying on with the monthly session, we run the monthly sessions for development of the technology. Once we move to the next phase of the development, once these units go into operation and then we provide our antenna suite, we'll come back with a few monthly sessions to test these systems. And then we'll ask you if you want to join for those monthly sessions. But for the next 2 or 3 months, we don't put anything on because we have to do our work. We learned a lot. Our system has to come into operation, and then we bring back the transfer of energy transmutation using the systems by feeding you or sending it. Everything in the background is ready, especially for the food and the energy and everything else. We have set up all the things for it. It's on the table, and just is getting everything correct with these units that we can start testing our transmutation systems and our additional technology to the man technology. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
All right, great. Thank you. All right. Well, that brings to a close our 616th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here today on Thursday, November 13th. And we look forward to another one next week as well. If you were interested, it'll be likely at the same time and location. And our next public teaching workshop is the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace with members and support members of the Universal Council. That starts on Tuesday, November 18th at the 4 p.m. Central European Time. And we look forward to more of the soul aspect of the teachings of the Universal Council in that workshop. Okay, and again, thank you everyone for attending today's workshop, and we'll see you in somewhere in the public teachings elsewhere. Bye for now. We'll go out with our usual flight enhancement spaceship unit musical version, and bye for now. Oops, there's one thing I forgot to show, which is from the, speaking of the Universal Council, there's a invitation from the Universal Council, and let me just share that here before we leave. It says, we, the Universal Council, invite all Kesh family all the time and unifying every 3 hours to elevate the soul of the leaders and the soul of the universal visitors to understand the transmutation of the soul, while humanity learns from the visitors their uses of the plasma and cosmic rays technology, providing mutual benefits and satisfaction to all of us. Okay, thank you for that message. And now back to our flight enhancement spaceship unit, and bye for now. Okay, bear with me just a minute here while I jumpstart, get out the jumper cables and jumpstart my program here.